NASCAR, a dominant force in American motorsports, has always been shown on TV with seemingly packed grandstands and a huge following. However, things may not be as they seem on TV. In the past few years, NASCAR has faced declining attendance and viewership in recent years. To counteract this perception, the organization employs several strategies during race weekends to create the illusion of packed grandstands. Former driver Jeremy Mayfield recently shared insights on these tactics in a discussion with YouTuber Chase Holden, shedding light on how NASCAR maintains the appearance of thriving popularity despite the challenges it faces. One of the most notable strategies NASCAR employs is using seats painted in bright, varied colors to create an optical illusion. When seen on television, the mix of colors resembles a crowd of spectators, even if the grandstands are sparsely populated. This tactic minimizes the visual impact of empty seats, making it appear as though the venue is nearly full, especially in wide-angle shots. In some venues, NASCAR covers sections of empty seating with large banners or tarps displaying sponsor logos or event branding. These coverings not only serve as additional advertising space, but also obscure the unoccupied sections from both in-person attendees and TV viewers. This practice is common in areas of the grandstands that are least likely to sell out, such as the uppermost rows or corners with less optimal viewing angles. Broadcasts strategically use camera angles to showcase the most crowded parts of the grandstands. By focusing on areas where fans are densely packed, such as the start-finish line or turns with popular seating, NASCAR minimizes attention to emptier sections. Quick cuts to enthusiastic fans or pit road activity further divert attention from any sparse attendance. Although not directly related to seating, NASCAR has introduced stage racing and a playoff format to sustain viewer engagement throughout the season. While these changes aim to enhance the drama on the track, they are also designed to draw more fans to the stands by creating pivotal moments in each race. Jeremy Mayfield compared these strategies to the approach seen in other major sports like the NFL and college football, noting that those organizations rarely alter their stadiums or seating configurations. He argued that NASCAR's efforts, including painting seats and using banners, highlight a deeper issue with declining fan interest rather than solving it. Mayfield also pointed out the lack of unity among teams in addressing NASCAR's broader struggles. He specifically criticized the majority of teams for not supporting 23x6 Racing and Front Row Motorsports in their antitrust lawsuit against NASCAR. According to Mayfield, financial stability among top teams like Hendrick Motorsports and Team Penske has made them less inclined to push for changes that could benefit smaller teams and the sport overall. NASCAR's efforts to maintain the appearance of packed grandstands reflect broader challenges within the sport. While these tactics may succeed in preserving the sport's image on television, they do little to address the underlying issues of fan engagement and attendance. For NASCAR to regain its former stature, it may need to focus less on optics and more on revitalizing the fan experience, fostering unity among teams, and addressing the concerns of both fans and stakeholders. One of the primary reasons NASCAR gives fans a false perception is to avoid the stigma associated with empty grandstands. Declining attendance has become a noticeable issue, with fewer fans traveling to races and many venues struggling to sell out their seating capacities. To counter this, NASCAR uses tactics such as painting seats in bright colors, covering empty sections with banners or advertisements, and strategically placing cameras to focus on fuller areas of the stands during broadcasts. These measures create an illusion of packed venues, portraying a healthier image of the sport than what exists in reality. Sponsorship is the lifeblood of NASCAR, with teams and the organization itself heavily reliant on corporate partnerships to fund operations. A perception of declining popularity could scare away sponsors or lead to reduced investments. By maintaining the appearance of sold-out races and engaged fans, NASCAR can reassure sponsors that their branding efforts are reaching a wide audience, even if the actual engagement numbers tell a different story. While these strategies may succeed in the short term, they come with a long-term risk of alienating fans and stakeholders. Loyal fans who attend races or follow the sport closely are often aware of the declining attendance and feel frustrated by NASCAR's unwillingness to address it openly. This disconnect can erode trust and deepen the divide between the organization and its fan base. Additionally, smaller teams may feel overlooked as the sport prioritizes optics over meaningful reforms that could help level the playing field. Jeremy Mayfield, a former NASCAR driver, has criticized the organization for these tactics, comparing them unfavorably to other major sports like the NFL and college football. Unlike NASCAR, these sports have not needed to alter their stadiums or cover seats to maintain an image of popularity. Mayfield also pointed to a lack of unity among NASCAR teams in pushing for systemic changes, suggesting that financial security for larger teams discourages them from addressing the sport's deeper issues. NASCAR's efforts to create a false perception of popularity may help maintain appearances, but they fail to address the critical challenges the sport faces. By prioritizing short-term optics over long-term solutions, NASCAR risks further alienating its core fan base and losing credibility with stakeholders. To truly revive the sport, NASCAR must embrace transparency, foster unity among teams, and implement meaningful reforms that prioritize the fan experience and competitive integrity over artificial appearances. NASCAR has faced a noticeable decline in attendance over the past 2 decades, a trend that has left once-packed grandstands looking sparse and has raised concerns about the sport's long-term sustainability. While several factors contribute to this downturn, they reflect a combination of shifting fan preferences, economic realities, and organizational decisions that have collectively impacted the sport's popularity. NASCAR's origins are deeply rooted in grassroots racing and blue-collar communities, but in its quest for national appeal, the sport has distanced itself from this core audience. Moves like expanding to new, larger markets and abandoning traditional tracks such as Rockingham and North Wilkesboro, though recently revived, alienated longtime fans who felt the sport was prioritizing commercial growth over loyalty to its roots. This sense of abandonment has caused many of NASCAR's most passionate supporters to walk away. In its heyday, NASCAR featured larger-than-life drivers like Dale Earnhardt Sr., Tony Stewart, and Jeff Gordon, whose rivalries and unique personalities captivated audiences. With the retirement of many iconic figures, newer drivers have struggled to fill their shoes in terms of star power and connection with fans. The rise of media-trained, corporate-friendly personas has made some fans feel the sport lacks the raw authenticity that once defined it. NASCAR has implemented several rule changes over the years in an attempt to modernize the sport, but many have been met with resistance from fans. The introduction of stage racing, the playoff system, and the Car of Tomorrow alienated purists who preferred the traditional race formats. While these changes were intended to add excitement and drama, many fans see them as manufactured and believe they dilute the essence of the sport. The rising cost of attending a race has become a significant barrier for fans. Ticket prices, travel expenses, parking fees, and concessions have made attending a race an expensive outing, especially for families. With other entertainment options available, many fans choose more affordable alternatives, contributing to declining attendance. The landscape of sports and entertainment has changed dramatically, offering fans a plethora of alternatives to live racing. The rise of the NFL, NBA, and even Formula One in the United States has drawn away fans who may have once prioritized NASCAR. Streaming services and online content also compete for attention, reducing the allure of spending an entire weekend at the racetrack. Some fans feel that NASCAR has failed to evolve in meaningful ways, particularly in terms of improving the on-track product. While other sports have embraced technological advances and new formats to engage younger audiences, NASCAR has been criticized for being slow to adapt. Fans often complain about long green flag runs with little action, which can make races feel monotonous. The COVID-19 pandemic further exacerbated the issue of declining attendance. While NASCAR was one of the first sports to resume operations during the pandemic, restrictions on live events and a shift toward virtual engagement accelerated the trend of fans opting to watch races from home rather than attending in person. As local dirt tracks and short-track racing communities face challenges such as rising operational costs and dwindling participation, fewer young fans are being introduced to motorsports. This decline in grassroots racing culture has had a ripple effect on NASCAR's ability to attract new audiences. To reverse the decline in attendance, NASCAR must take a multifaceted approach. Reviving traditional tracks, enhancing the fan experience at races, fostering compelling driver rivalries, and making races more affordable are all critical steps. Additionally, the sport must embrace modern marketing strategies to engage younger audiences while staying true to its roots to maintain the loyalty of longtime fans. While the challenges are significant, NASCAR's storied history and dedicated fan base provide a solid foundation for recovery. By addressing these issues transparently and making meaningful changes, the sport can once again fill its grandstands and reclaim its status as a leader in American motorsports.